Hey, good morning and welcome. I'm David Wilson and I'm here in our trialing and testing garden here on the nursery on a beautiful day in early summer. The weather's just perfect, it's a lovely temperature and it's just great to be out here with all of these gorgeous plants. Now, the reason that we have this trial and testing area here is to make sure that the new varieties that wind up in our partnering garden centres are going to be good performers for this region. That's the Mid-Atlantic and Northeastern states of the US. And today we have an exciting update that we want to tell you about on a video that we posted round about this time last year. But before we do that, I'd like to suggest, if you haven't already, that you think about subscribing to this channel, because we're busy posting new videos all the time on all sorts of exciting new and very good performing plants for this region. And if you're a subscriber, you'll find that each time we post a new video, which we're doing all the time, they will turn up automatically in your feed. And as you watch our videos, if there's content and information on there that you find helpful and you think might be of benefit for other people as well, it would be great if you could kindly hit the like button, because then that will help other people discover that information as well. So let me take you now and show you this exciting news about Hydrangea Early Evolution. And here, look at it, a true little garden gem if ever there was one. Here it is, growing outdoors in the nursery in early summer, coming into flower. Look at it and then take a look at these other varieties of the same type of hydrangea, Hydrangea paniculata, and you'll see that these, of course, are going to be gorgeous during the summertime, producing those beautiful big pristine white flowers, very hardy, very reliable, and just absolutely fantastic plants for the garden. But look at this, now in early summer in full flower, this little beauty here, which has been here now about 3 years, it only comes up to about knee height. It's rounded, compact and absolutely covered with masses of these gorgeous little flowers, doing beautifully. And if you haven't caught our video here on this channel yet, I'd suggest that you take a few moments and view it, because there I go through all the information about things that you can do to grow it and where to plant it in your garden and where you can enjoy it, and all the information about the plant. But when we produced that video, there was a couple of things that we weren't quite sure about. One of them was the hardiness level. We believe this plant is hardier than we say on our tags. Currently we have it down as a zone 5 plant, which means that it's perfectly hardy anywhere in our region. And in that video also, I took it and put it into a container, but when we posted the video, I wasn't sure how it would do in a container. We knew that it would do perfectly in a garden situation, and at that time we knew how nice it would look in a container, how valuable it would be because it's very long lasting. These flowers go right through to the autumn time, changing color, coming out with this creamy white color, then going through to an alabaster color, and as they go through the summer, taking on pink shades as well. And in fact, in cooler localities, it will go even to a deeper pink color too. But while we knew it would look good in a container, we didn't know how well it would survive during the winter time. Well, now we took that container, we left it out here on the nursery to all of the elements during the winter time, and guess what? It has fared remarkably well. Just look at it here. Absolutely gorgeous. And bear in mind that this was left out here on the nursery to all of the winter elements, and we didn't do anything to it. We gave it a little bit of water this springtime, but that's it. Now, it's important to remember that this past winter was a comparatively mild winter, so whether that was a true test for this in a container or not remains to be seen. That said, it looks like, based upon what we're finding, that this is a plant that we could probably overwinter in a container outdoors without having to bring it in a zone 6 or zone 7. You see, we're here in the nursery in zone 7 or a cold zone 6 at times, it feels like it. We believe that the plant itself is hardy to zone 4, and that kind of goes with my old rule of thumb that if you're wanting to grow plants in containers, then you choose ones that are 2 zones colder than the zone that you're in. We believe that this is a solid zone 4, which means then that it should overwinter successfully in zone 6. The important thing to remember is that with all plants, the top part of it might be really hardy and tough, but the bit that's vulnerable to winter cold is the roots, because they're normally in underneath the ground in the insulation of the earth. And of course, when we put them into containers, they're surrounded by cold air on a winter's night, or even for a prolonged period for that matter. So the question is, will they be able to cope with having that cold temperature at the roots? Will the roots freeze solid and therefore the plant not be able to survive during the winter time? But based upon the findings that we've been finding here, we can now say with a good deal of confidence that this certainly looks like a plant that's worth trying in a zone 6 or zone 7 environment. Just how it would do in colder localities really honestly remains to be seen. It might be that if you wanted to try it in a container, that you could move it into a sheltered spot during the winter time, perhaps even put it into a basement or perhaps in a garage somewhere that's going to protect it and stop it from freezing. You might be able to come up with some way to insulate the container to stop the roots from getting frozen. And at home in my garden, I've been doing it for years, I actually take plants that I grow in containers like this and I plunge the whole pot in the earth, and that means that then the roots are protected and insulated by the earth. In springtime, I just dig them up, clean off the pots, and then put them back on our deck, and I've been doing that for years and it works very well. Fairly labor intensive, it's true, but at least I'm able to enjoy plants on a deck that otherwise perhaps I wouldn't be able to. You can certainly experiment and try this. We find it, as you see, to be working really good here, and it is something that I think, based on what we're seeing here with all the beauty and elegance of this plant, that it's worth at least a try. Now, the other interesting discovery that I made about this plant is that apparently it almost didn't come to be. You see, Arjen Bregman, the passionate plantsman and nurseryman who raised this originally as a little seedling, was closing down his nursery. And his friend Ron had the presence of mind of going in and lifting the little 15 or 16 seedlings that Arjen had growing there and moving them to another nursery. After a couple of years of growing them on, he decided that they really needed to be tested in a colder environment. So he sent them to another friend in central Poland to check on the hardiness and the possible potential that these seedlings might have. And then, in a year or two, he got a phone call to say that the seedlings were prospering and doing well, and one was outstanding. In the words of the Polish nurseryman, it's a winner. Well, needless to say, Ron and Arjen then decided that they really needed to look at this a lot closer, and it was then that they introduced it to a very good friend of ours, Peter van Ryssen from Concept Plants. Now, Peter is a bit of a character, and we always enjoy working with him, but he's also a very fine judge of a good garden plant. And it was through him that we got the original plants of this. And from the moment that we got them here on the nursery until the present day, we've really just been amazed how well this plant is doing and the potential that it has for us in our gardens. It's a true garden gem, and one that we hope you get a chance to enjoy somewhere in your garden, whether it be in the open ground, whether it be as a cut flower, or growing in a container, or perhaps all three ways. This is David Wilson. Enjoy your gardening. It's good for us, and it's very good for our environment too.